Hello, 3D fabrication. I think most of us got to this point with the minifig last week where we have a head, a torso, legs, waist legs, and at least one arm. I know it's not the ideal minifig, but we're gonna stop making things for it or parts for it, and I want to show you the options of combining it or not combining it. And talk about color. So first of all, I'm going to delete my right arm here because I want to show you what I did to make a right arm. So I'll hit delete and I will confirm that. And then, so I want to duplicate this piece and I also want it rotated the other way. So I could, oops, I think I lost my body. Hold on one second. Let me undo a couple times. I must have had both pieces selected when I deleted, so let me try that again. Okay, that's what I want. So you can copy and paste parts. I think there's, yeah, anyway. So we could copy and paste it and then manually turn it around. But the best thing to do here is mirror, and you can tell mirror to make a new part. So you want to make sure you have your left arm selected. I don't know why it says I have 5 things. Excuse me. I don't know why it had 5 things selected, so I hit deselect to deselected. I think I'm also going to hide my sketches because those are somewhat distracting. So it looks like I got all of my sketches hiding. Okay, back to mirroring. Mirroring looks like this. If you don't, and it's a 3D tool, so make sure you don't have any sketches open. And if you can't find mirror, you guys are good at searching tools. So if I were to type in mirror, you're going to see it and you can select it here as well. So I am in the mirror tool. It's waiting for me to tell it what to do. So the first thing it wants to know is entities to mirror. So I'm going to go ahead and select left arm. I find it easier to click the name down here because I want to make sure it selects the whole thing. But I think it works either way. Yeah, that grabbed the whole left arm. But you can click down here if you want to. Okay, the mirror plane, anytime you see a box that's pink, you can't just select the mirror frame. You actually have to click into this box to say, okay, I'm ready to select the mirror plane. And any edge will work. Actually, I don't think an edge will work. You have to choose a face. So you just see I selected that sideways face, and that's not the best mirroring for me. So I'm going to delete it. And if I select this one, I could use that plane because I do have a mirror. I personally feel that the best face to click is this face. Kind of did the same thing, but that's okay. The important thing is that you want to click a face so that when you get the other arm, it's going to work as the right arm. But then the other very important thing to do, we don't want to add to our current entity because then it becomes one piece. We want to click new. And when it does that, you can see a part 5 is already showing in our parts panel. And I think there was a little bit of a change in the appearance here. So I'm going to click OK. And then we need to move it because we don't want our right arm to be stuck like that. So we got to find our transform menu. Mine is showing. It looks like this. Again, if you can't see this icon, go ahead and just search for transform. Once you click transform, you need to again select the entity you want to transform, which is my right arm because I'm going to move it over here. And then we don't want to translate by line. We want to translate by XYZ. And I like that because what that does is it gives us this little widget. Oops, I didn't mean to tilt my thing like that. Go back to front. and slide this to the side. Okay, I like using the arrows when I transform, especially in this case, because I want it at the same height as my right arm. So I'm just gonna pull this over here. I get a preview as I'm doing this. I'm gonna keep it about the same distance. And then I can click yes, and my part 5 is now my right arm. Just because I've done the other names, I'm gonna rename this. I'm also renaming it for a subsequent step I'll be showing you, where having the names here is going to be super helpful. So I'm going to right click on part 5. I'm going to go to rename, and I'm going to type right arm, or a bit of an abbreviation of right arm. So those are kind of the pieces we need for our minifig. And naming them here, often when I'm modeling on my own, I don't often name my parts. It is helpful for instructional reasons, why I've done it with this project. So, as is illustrated on the screen, Onshape just creates colors as it goes. There is a way to color parts the way you want to color them. I never do that. I rarely teach it, because if we were to 3D print this, it doesn't matter what color it is on the screen. The color is determined by the filament you put into the printer. We currently do not have a printer that prints more than one color. So if we wanted to color this similar to a regular minifig, where maybe the waist and legs are one color, the head is another color, and the torso and arms maybe are the same color, or maybe two different colors, but you're probably going to have the same color for the arms. So if you wanted to do that, then we would print these each as 5 different pieces. Okay. If we want to combine the whole thing and print it in one color, then you have to physically combine these before printing, so that it's one part instead of 5. So I'm going to duplicate these parts. I actually want you to do this with me. And so we want, we're going to be combining these pieces into the one minifig, and that minifig would be printed all in one color. Since you might want to print in different colors if you decide to print this, we want to keep the parts individual. If I right click on a part, you can, let me see what copy here does. Yes, that's a nice one. So right clicking on something and copy here makes another copy of your head. And I'm going to click yes, and you can see that's part 6. I will rename this to be head 2. We're going to do the same thing for each part. So now I'm going to right click on the torso. I'm going to click copy here. I'm going to move it before I click accept. I'll rename it after I pause the video, but we're going to do this for each piece. So let's right click on the waist, copy here, move the copy over here, click OK. Right click left arm, copy here, move it over to our second version, click OK, right click on right arm, copy here, and we'll move it to our other version. Okay, so I need you to do that, so you basically have 2 copies of each part. The only one I renamed was head 2. I'm not going to bother renaming the other parts, because what we're going to do next is we're going to combine this all into one piece. In order for joining parts to work, they must intersect. So if I transform head 2 with the XYZ translate, and I position that so it's part of my torso, And when you do move stuff, you know, to orient it, you really want to make sure you look at it from several angles. But this looks like it's properly placed. And I think, yeah, you can tell that the neck is intersecting with the body because you can see the outline of it. Let me show you the wrong thing to do so that you can avoid it. I'm going to take my part 7. No, I'm not. I'm going to take part 8. Deselect part 7. So I'm going to take part 8. I'm going to go to transform again. I'm going to go translate XYZ again. I'm going to pull it up again. Actually, let me show you something. Yeah, no, let's go ahead and make sure that is intersecting. I'm going to tweak it to the left a little. I'm going to make sure I'm looking directly from the front. I'll zoom in a little bit. By the way, if you zoom in more, it will move by smaller increments. So if you're finding that it's really skipping, like as you move it, it's moving too much with little action, zoom in. It allows you to move it in smaller sequences. Okay, I'm going to now move this arm. Transform XYZ. Pull it in here. Check it out from this side. I think it's already lined up on this side. Okay, but clearly I don't want it locked into that. I'm going to put it like that, and you'll see we have a bit of a problem now because the wrist goes into the arm. We'll work on a rotate in a second. I'm going to click there. Then I'm going to part 10. Nope. I don't want part 10. I want part 9. I'm going to transform that by XYZ. Let me get proper, because I want to try to get it in this about the same amount. So those they look like they're the same amount. Go ahead and look, yes. So I've put this thing together, and if I was happy with it, I could keep it this way. But you can see we probably want to rotate these arms a little, which brings up another problem, because when you rotate something, you need access to rotate it on. So we want to be rotating like on the plane we're looking at, on the front plane. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to select part 9 again and try it again. We got to do a new transform. It knows it's doing part 1, and I'm going to rotate. Now, the thing with rotate, it needs to know which axis you're going to rotate on. I think I can click this edge of the line. Let's see if that worked. Oh no, see, that's going to give me this rotation. So that's not a rotation I want. So I'm going to not rotate it on that edge. It might be the waist edge. Let's find out. So it's still part 9. For the axis, I'm going to try this. Now this one's rotating this way, so that's not the right edge either. So I'm going to remove that edge. I think we're looking to rotate on this edge. And so now you can see it's bent the wrong way. But we're going to go back out this way. Woo! So I'm going to try to make it parallel with that side of the torso. So that's probably correct. And I also want to note that this is 25 degrees. So I'm going to click OK. And I can move my arm more in a minute, but while I'm remembering that this is 25 degrees, I'm going to now go to part 10. I'm going to go to rotate or transform. Then I'm going to choose rotate. Then it needs to know which axis to rotate on, and it's this axis that works well. And instead of 30 degrees, I want this to be 25. I thought it was going to be negative 25, but I guess 25 works. And I'm going to click OK. And then if you want to move these up, you probably can open the transform and use to move it up. Let's see how that works. It's kind of like transforming blindly, but I did it pretty well. So I think the other transform is going to be 12. And again, I'm going to move it up and click OK. And that looks pretty well too. I might want to bring it down a touch, or either bring this one up a little or this one down a touch, or just leave them. I know it's not perfect, and you can decide how much you want to tinker with it to get the accuracy you want. So I can try that instead. That looks pretty equal. Kind of a funny looking minifig, but again, all of the pieces are overlapping. And I want to show you something. So I'm actually going to pull my head up. I don't think you should do this. I think you should just watch this to see what I mean when you need to have overlapping stuff. So I'm going to see if I can remember. So transform 5 is when I moved my head. So I'm going to open transform 5. I'm going to move it up some. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so my head's not connected to my body. And I did this on purpose because I wanted to show you something. So remember, from head 2 through the rest of these parts, that's the right side of my minifig. I'm going to go ahead and select all of these because I want them all to be in one. I want them grouped all as one unit. And that is called a Boolean thing. Now, Boolean, I'm going to click it. You can see it's got different options. It has a union option, a subtract option, and an intersect option. You probably won't use subtract and intersect too often. Feel free to play with them. But if I go ahead and click this, so basically what it's saying is take all of these parts and union them into one, which is basically combined. So I'm going to click the check mark. And I also, actually, if you look down here, you'll notice it's already given a preview. It's giving a preview of head 2 and part 7. So if I click this, I now only have 2 parts. And you can see the head's not part of it because the head didn't intersect. So let me undo. I'm going to open transform 5 again to put my head back into it. It's a little hard to see with the other things hidden, so I'm going to guess I did it too much. So let me open transform 5 again and move it a little bit up. There. Okay, so it's positioned well and it's intersecting. You can see there that it's intersecting. So now if I do my Boolean union again, I want to start by selecting all the parts. I want to be 1. I go back to Boolean. I make sure it has union, and you can see the preview. It's already going to combine them all into part 1. So I'm going to click that. And now I have one minifig that can be printed as one color. And I still have the parts of my minifigure in case I want to print them in different colors. So I want you to make all the changes I made in this video and then take a screen capture and put this in your OneNote. And next week we're going to talk about how to take something or how to turn this into an STL, because printers need it first to be in an STL. And then there's one more step to make it printer ready, and that's what we'll learn that next week. But hopefully this will go well this week. And remember, you can undo, rewind the video, try it again. So just keep doing that process of, undoing mistakes, rewinding the video, and watching it a little more carefully. Good luck, and I will see you next week.